when I got to high school, that's when I found jazz. Like I found Jesus. Like that's why I found
it
jazz.
It feels like that.
Literally,
it really does feel like it when you find jazz. Like
it's crazy and it's so much work.
So are you from Georgia?
I'm not from Georgia.
Where are you from?
Well, I guess I'm from Georgia now. I was born in Detroit, and we moved down here when I was 8 years old.
Really?
And I've been here since. Mm-hmm.
I'm from Detroit.
You are?
Yeah.
I think I vaguely remember talking to someone before where they were like, "Oh, I'm from Detroit too." I was like, "What?" It was you. It must have been you.
Maybe. A lot of people come from the north to the south.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
The migration's happening in reverse.
yeah. But yeah.
Very cool.
Born there. I'd go back every now and again to visit family and for the jazz festival.
Nice.
Supposed to be going this September.
Okay.
So
very cool. What part of Detroit do your family live in?
Don't ask me.
Ooh.
The east side.
Okay, I got you. No, I'm hip.
That's all I remember.
No, I'm hip. I used to live on the east side, and for the longest time I didn't know where, like what city specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So people would be like, "Oh, where you from?" In Detroit, and say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And be like, "East side." And then I like Googled my address, and I was like, "Oh, it's like Harper Woods-ish kind of area, like that kind of section."
Gotcha.
But yeah. You gotta be careful with Detroit, because like people will say Detroit and then they'll mean like Metro Detroit, and so like people, if you're from the east side and you really but like people from like the suburbs will also say it, and like I grew up in the east side and we moved out to the suburbs, so these suburban kids be like, "Oh, we're from Detroit." Like, no, you're not. You're from Novi or Farmington Hills or Northville or whatever the fuck.
They were like, "No, you're not."
Yeah, don't just. This is to anyone who's on the airwaves listening. Don't just trust people who say they're from Detroit. Like
that's like people saying they're from Atlanta.
It's the exact same shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The exact same shit.
So you're from Ackworth.
Exactly. It's like, what the fuck? Like, this isn't.
Man.
You gotta be within the perimeter, and then in the perimeter to really be from Atlanta. Like,
True.
You know. But Atlanteans really know, so I guess I can't really say that. So you've been here since you were 8.
Yeah.
You know why your parents moved here?
I know my mom wanted to do work down here. She was doing real estate. Mm-hmm. And the real estate up there just wasn't really cutting it, So that's the main reason why I moved down here, for real. Okay. And we had family not too far from. I think there was some in Alabama, some in Georgia, middle of nowhere Georgia, but still Georgia. But we moved when we first moved here, somewhere off of Mount Zion Road. I don't know if you know where that's at. This is like far. And then moved to Marietta. Stayed in Marietta for a while. Then from Marietta we moved to Ackworth. Spent some time in Ackworth. And then Kennesaw.
Nice.
And that's where I've been. I haven't been in the city. So every time I come down here I'm like, "Oh, what's up? What's up?
You've been coming down here more and more.
Yeah.
As like, when did that really start happening though? Is that like last year kind of thing, or is that happening before?
It was happening before.
Okay, cool.
So when I was in high school, I joined the marching band and all that. I got into jazz, like heavy. I was like, wow, this stuff is crazy. So my mom would take me down to the jam sessions. All of them are downtown.
Oh, wow.
So there was, the main one I would go to is Churchill Grounds, which is, it used to be next to the Fox, but they closed that location down. They kind of like jump around now. I think now they're at 10 ATL, so like right next to the Treehouse in East Atlanta Village.
Is that Southern Food Store?
No, it's across the street.
From Southern Food Store?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But, yeah, so I've been going down there for that. I go down there for the Atlanta Jazz Festival. But on my own accord, like once I got out of high school, got into college, I'd still go for jam sessions and all that stuff. And then I'm trying to remember, I never thought about it. Like when did I start really coming down here? Mm-hmm. I'd come down for Controllerize when that was still a thing.
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing you. You was around with Trap Kitty a lot. As I recall. There were a couple moments. I feel like maybe you two were just in the same vicinity, and I thought y'all were hanging out.
Possible.
But I feel like when I would see you and her and like other people. Y'all would be squatted up. It's like a small group. Maybe I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I was definitely there.
Okay.
I might have just been there.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, they're together, and I'm just like in my own world. But yeah, Controllerize. I started hitting up. I'm trying to think about it. The lineage is interesting. Controllerize. What else was I doing down there? Oh, I think I started hitting up Edgewood a lot, and that's when I discovered that Cartridge was a thing.
Mm.
So that's why I found out about them. I think they were at Joystick at the time. Yeah, Joystick. Then they like hopped around. They were in the beer garden.
Yep.
And then, well, it's just been a few locations, but yeah. Then that started happening, and I feel like that's when I started to like kind of come down a lot more.
Okay, very cool. So it's rather recently then.
Oh, it's pretty recent. So probably
last like 5 years or so.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's around the time I moved out here, personally. So I came out for a job. Yeah. And then found out about Controllerize, and now here we are. It's
crazy. It's crazy how things work out.
Fucking goes on. It's like all the same. So you mentioned that you were in marching band, and then you mentioned you garnered an interest in jazz. Mm-hmm. What is your introduction to the music world, just in general?
In general?
Yeah, like where do you pick up this like interest in music? Like where does it start?
Probably marching band, to be honest. Because
Really?
I remember coming out of middle school, I was gonna stop playing saxophone because it's just like, I've been playing in middle school. It wasn't really like it wasn't like a huge program in my middle school. Mm-hmm. And then from there it was like, I don't want to just sit down playing like all this like Percy Granger and all that stuff. But when I got to high school, that's when I found jazz. Like I found Jesus. Like that's why I found jazz.
It feels like that.
Literally,
it really does feel like it when you find jazz. Like
it's crazy. And the way I found it is a couple of classmates of mine were like playing it. I'm like, yo, what is that? It's like, how do you know how to do that on the saxophone? We're only in 9th grade. It's like, what is that? I was like, oh, that's jazz. It's like Charlie Parker. It's like, Charlie Parker? Who? It's like, I started like listening. The way I'd listen is I'd get a Pandora account, and I would just like set like a whole bunch of radio stations. Like I hear something I like, it's like, oh, this radio station. That was my favorite thing about Pandora. Yeah. And I would just like listen. So I couldn't. Actually, I couldn't listen anymore. I just keep listening. Yeah. And it was just like, damn, this stuff's crazy. Because, like, I feel like everyone's perception of jazz, well, not everyone, but my perception of jazz early on, just in childhood and just, like, hearing the word jazz and hearing jazz, it'd be, like, just random notes. Like, you're just, like, every jazz was free jazz to me, right? So it's just, like, colors and sounds and just everything going on. It's like, why would anyone listen to that? But like after I found it, it's like, oh, there's like stuff to this. Like it makes sense. It's layers, And that was
patterns on patterns on patterns.
Yeah, literally, and that's what got me. I was like, that's crazy. And it's like the level of skill and like virtuosity for someone to like improvise something like so beautiful or so just like crazy, That's that pizza.
It's okay. You got a poop or fart, just let me know. There's a bathroom in the back, and we're all farting in the same room. So I'm very like, as you can't tell already, I'm pretty vulgar. So
no, you're good. You're good. But yeah, it was just like, damn, I want to be able to do that,
Yeah.
And from that, it just like, there's like this new love in just like music, because from jazz, like I won't say stuck, but I was listening to jazz like for a lot, like all throughout high school. Like if you look at my Spotify, it's just like a whole bunch of jazz, and it was like every now and again I'd like throw some songs in there, like maybe something I hear on the radio. And then which is weird. Let me start from the beginning. So before I got to that point in high school where I was listening to jazz and found jazz, I didn't really have a musical direction. I would just listen to it. Was like, oh, I like that. It wasn't like, oh, I like this, let me find more of this. It was like, oh, I like that. Not that it would stop right there. So like, for example, I was listening to a lot of Lil Wayne.
Naturally.
Yeah. And it was weird. I'd have some Green Day songs in there. And it was like, I was on YouTube a lot. Like when YouTube first started popping off, like 2006, 7, I was on there. I was watching the anime fan flashes, like the badly drawn. I was watching those like YouTube poop videos. You remember those?
I don't remember those.
What?
Oh, no!
Okay. But let me explain. It's not what you think it is.
It's early YouTube. It is what I think it is.
No. Okay. So a YouTube poop video, right? It was just like, wow, it's crazy. It's early memes, but not like like the top text, bottom text. Before that, it was just like random stuff that would just happen and it'd be funny.
Okay.
And I don't know why they called it YouTube poop. It was like a compilation.
Yeah.
So like you watch like a TikTok compilation, like a Vine compilation. It was that.
Yeah.
But it was just random stuff.
Okay.
Of course, it would like make references to pop culture and all that.
Yeah, so like cartoons and shit.
Yeah. So that's what that is. I would watch those. A lot of parodies too. So it's like it's the funny songs, or it's like they'll make fun of stuff.
E=MC², like shit like that.
Yeah. Exactly that.
Yeah, it's exactly.
And I was like Robot Chicken. Yep. It was like Robot Chicken, but that was literally what I watch and what I consume, and I'd like hear things and it's like, I like that or I don't like that. Like everything they played on the radio, I was just like, I like that or I don't like that. It's weird.
It's very intentional.
And it was like, it's like being asleep, right? It's like you're in the simulation, and then like when I found jazz, I woke up.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. It
makes sense. Like leaving the Matrix.
Yes. No, it makes a fuck ton of sense. Actually.
And it's like, and it made me think. It's like, how many people are still in the metaphorical Matrix, or has it just been me? You know what I mean?
I don't think it's just you.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's like, dang. So that was the beginning, and like going on from high school, I got reintroduced to. I won't say like introduced, but I started listening to rap again, and I was like heavy into Kendrick. Just like everything Kendrick does, just like lit. Who else I listen to? I randomly jumped back to like NWA, and like all that old school stuff.
Natural progression. Kendrick, Dre, California, West Coast.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to listen to Eminem a lot because
Detroit.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of Jeezy. That's what my sister was listening to. Jeezy and Lil Wayne. And then I just like opened my ear at that point. I was like open to receiving sounds and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that you had like a little bit of like, say, the Green Day in the mix. There's a little bit of punk in there too. So were there any particular like bands or any one that you were interested in? Outside, along with Green Day?
There was. Linkin Park was heavy. So the Hybrid Theory hit hard.
Hybrid Theory, that shit.
It is. It is.
That shit.
What else did I listen to? It was like random, because like I wasn't really delving into it. It was kind of random songs.
Probably some Blink-182, maybe a little bit of Sum
Play My
41
Tees.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually remember something. So I had this thing called Massively Mini Media Player.
Okay.
It was like one of those commercial things you get. But you can it had the radio on there.
Nice.
So I listened to radio, but it was always like staticky because it was like,
Yeah.
It's technology.
Yeah,
But
it's like 2000s technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a record button, so you would record the radio. So I would record songs. I remember I had Hey There Delilah recorded.
That's awesome.
Like,
Play YTs? Hell yeah.
I was like, okay. But alternative stuff.
It's like Panic at the Disco, it's like Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy. I wasn't really into Panic at the Disco at the time.
Yeah, okay.
That's a later thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Little Paramore. Would Papa Roach in there?
I would listen to a little Paramore, but it wasn't like heavy.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Like I must have had like that one band. I think it was honestly Linkin Park. That's crazy. And then at that point, I think I started getting the Skrillex too a little bit.
Okay.
You know, like
a little bit of EDM,
when it was just popping off.
Yeah.
It's crazy like thinking about this. Like the order is like I'm trying to like get it straight. It's like wait, when did I start listening to this? When did I start listening to this?
No stress. We got time, bro.
But yeah. And then like I guess I'll like touch on recently. Not too recent. No, it's pretty recent. Yeah, like 5 years recent.
Pretty recent.
Yeah. So I went to graduate high school. I ended up going to school for music. Did jazz saxophone. It was like my study.
Very cool.
And by the end of that, I was like burnt out. Like, I still like liked jazz or loved jazz, but it's just like, damn, I've been listening to a lot of jazz. It's like all jazz all the time. Well, I wasn't all jazz, but it's just like I was just burnt out because it's like that can happen to anybody when you're doing something for just like straight for so long.
Hell yeah.
So I was just like, dang, and I just like I won't say I stopped listening to jazz, but I definitely cut it down. And at that point, what did I find after that? I think that was my Japanese music. Well, not technically Japanese music. There was some Japanese music in there, and as well as like I want to say anime music, but it's like this is a name for it, like future funk, future pop. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like that. What was it Macross 82?
Macross 82. Yeah, there we go. Hell yeah! That's that city pop, bro. Yeah. The city pop. Yes, yes.
So I was in that vibe for a while. I still kind of am.
It's beautiful music.
It is.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
It's like, how long has this existed? Like, why don't I know about this? But listening to that, like a lot of that, and then what was after that? I think I got into beat music shortly after that. What is that emo? I like that.
It's Big Panther's emo. I think it's Jordan. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know though. I'm not gonna lie. No, it's number 2. It can't be Jordan. I don't watch basketball though, so let me shut the fuck up.
Who that is?
It's RC McPanther.
RC McPanther.
Yeah, he's a homie. He be around. He is a fighting game player. He is also he's an Atlanta native. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Keep me honest. Like, I'm pretty sure he's an Atlanta native, and he's been in the scene of music out here. Atlanta. RC McPanther, the man with the stories.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he the keeper of the books. Dead ass.
Dope.
Yeah, he dabbled with a whole bunch of shit.
Hey.
Cold blooded. It's really good peoples.
Nice, dope. I might have met you, but I need to meet you in person.
If you go, he'll be at Controllerize sometimes. He'll be at Cartridge sometimes. And he be around. There's a good chance since he's seen you, he'll find you.
For sure.
Yeah.
And especially if I put like a name with a face, I'm like, oh, I've definitely seen you.
Yeah. It's Joe Johnson when he was with the Hawks.
Joe Johnson.
I wouldn't even know that. I don't know shit about basketball.
I used to be heavy into basketball when I was little, but like after 2005, I don't know what's happening.
Oh, I if it wasn't video game related, I genuinely didn't know about it.
Man, I feel that.
Yeah, I knew who Barry Sanders was only because of Madden. That's the only reason. I knew who Barry Bonds was only because of MLB, and I didn't even play. I like playing sports games. My stepdad played them. That's the only reason I knew about those people, though.
I mean, it's valid. It's valid for sure.
You have a Twitch channel too, don't you?
I do.
What's your Twitch channel?
It's Quirklesswonder. That's actually the first time I ever came out as Quirklesswonder. Was Twitch. Mm-hmm.
Really? So then where's your name come from?
Was it like the origin?
Name, yeah.
Okay, so My Hero Academia for sure. And there's a I don't know if I was reading it or I watched it, but there's a panel where Shigaraki's talking to he's talking to Midoriya, and he said something like, "You'll never be nothing but something Quirklesswonder." I was like, damn, it like hit heavy.
Damn.
He said that, I was like, damn, that's crazy. But that was my name.
That's pretty cold blooded. That's a cold blooded way to find a name.
Yeah.
I haven't read My Hero yet. I'm watching it.
It's dumb. Are you caught up?
Yes, I am.
Popping off right now.
I know.
It's been nonstop. Just
No, I'm losing it. It's like, oh, my heart. What's fucked up about it is, like, even though I haven't read it, I'm the kind of person, since I don't care about spoilers, like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I know this shit was happening like last year.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening now is happening like last year in the manga.
Yeah.
And you're like way the fuck ahead of the manga.
Yeah.
So, I don't even care. It's just still really cool.
It's good stuff. Like, I've been with it since like the beginning, and it's like I like try and get my friends onto it. It's like, oh, you gotta watch My Hero. It's crazy, and they'd watch it like, what is this? This is whack, because it like starts off kind of slow.
Yeah, but even still,
I mean,
from the first season, like when you getting in.
I've had friends be like, "Oh, I've watched 3 episodes," and it's like it's not hitting for me. It's like you gotta watch 10 episodes. Just watch 10 episodes. And it's like I feel like it's a big order to ask people. It's like people barely want to watch 1 episode. It's like
Seriously,
10 episodes. Like I sit there for 10 episodes. But it hit. It paid off.
Definitely,
for sure.
I love the name. As soon as you told me the name, I was like, that's My Hero shit right there.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm definitely hip to that.
Definitely.
Earlier though, you were explaining, so more recently, within the last 5 years, you've been dabbling within like the realm of like Japanese city pop, other forms of music. What brought you to what you're doing now? What influenced you to get this SP404?
Gotcha. So, like I said, I was going to Controllerize a lot, and it was just like listening to beat music. I was like, that's crazy. Like, people just playing beats. And at that time, I had no idea what this machine was. So I'd see people bring this machine. I was like, what is that? Like, I couldn't even comprehend what was happening. So I was just like, I'll never know what it's called. I never thought to ask anybody or anything. It was just like, that's crazy.
That's fucking awesome.
And because like the way, like especially the SX, it looks so old. I was like, what's this vintage piece of gear that people are using?
Ancient technology.
I was like, what are you doing? There's no screen. What are y'all doing? But from that point, I think I was listening to more beat music, and I like got on YouTube, was watching videos. I was like, wait, there's that device again. What is that? It's like, oh, it's called the SP404. I was like, okay. It's like, oh, it's a sampler. It's like, so it's not like, it doesn't have like stuff in it. And around that same time that I was listening to beat music, I was really heavy into synthesizers. So like I had like my synths set up. I don't have them anymore. I sold them, but I had like hella synths, and I was just like, you know, like sculpt sounds, like just crazy stuff. And I wasn't really using it for anything. Like my goal was to like go out and like play it like live, but I think I was in an alternative band at the time playing bass, but.
What?
we can get that. We can get to that later. But I was just like, dang, I would have to get like really good at like piano, like finger movement, just so I can like shred on this thing. Yeah. So I was listening to, at the time, coming out of the high school with like the jazz stuff. It was Snarky Puppy. I don't know if you know what Snarky Puppy is.
I've heard the name before. I can't say I've heard the music.
Oh man, I gotta hit you with Snarky Puppy. The Snarky Puppy. And Corey Henry was a part of Snarky Puppy. He's with the Funk Apostles now, it's his own group, but he's just an amazing piano, keyboard, synthesizer player, organ. He's dumb. He's just dumb. So I was just like, damn, it's like that's kind of dope, because I was like listening to the synths. It's like I want to play like that, and it's like, of course, like you can't just start playing like that. So I'm just like figuring it out, and so I'm like making. Damn, I just thought about that. That's when I started making like content. I would just post on my Instagram story, my Instagram, and I would just like make little like covers and stuff like that. I forgot about the covers, and I started making covers. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
But I'm just like remembering it all.
It's okay. This is what we're here for. I'm fucking here for. That's great.
But that's besides the point. That's not the question you asked me. Getting back
it's
to
okay.
So I saw the box online. I was like, oh damn, that's what it is. That's crazy. And I was listening to more beat music. I got into I don't know, you know, the LA beat scene.
Not much about it. No.
Yeah, so that's your guys. Of course, like DiBiase is like real heavy into that.
Okay.
You got well, it was like early 2010s. I wasn't checking it out at that time. I found it later after it happened, so it's like, I missed it. But it's like DiBiase. He's still doing stuff, by the way. Sam I Am, John Wayne.
Heard these names before.
Yeah. Ross G. Man. And then those guys were just dumb. They were like I don't want to say pioneers, but like actually like the pioneers of the SB, like 404.
Yeah.
Of course, you have like Mad Lib and them messing with like the 202, 303, but like the 404. Yes, DiBiase is dope for sure, but they're just like killing it on these things. I'm just like, how are they doing that? And I was just like, I gotta get one. So like, I went ahead and got one. But first, before I got this, because this was expensive. Well, not this one, but the SX. It was like $400. Like, damn, I don't have $400. So I got a Korg Volca sample, which is a sampler. Doesn't do the same thing, but you can get close. I started making stuff on that. It's like, okay, bet. You can't like do all the effects or anything, but you can make the thing. It's like, okay, I made the thing, cool. And then it's like, I need that 404. This ain't the same. It's like playing with a toy. But I got that, not this, the SX, through like Klarna or something. You know, like the pay in 4.
Yeah.
So I was like, I chopped it up. Did like 100.
Nice.
So I could get it. And I was messing with this, like, damn, this is crazy. And it's like, so I started making content with it like crazy. It's like, I gotta get good. And that's my way of like actually practicing getting good.
Yeah.
Because like I want people to hear this because I think it's crazy. It's like hopefully other people think it's crazy too. But
oh, it is.
yeah. And then so I was messing with that for a while, and I didn't really have a goal for it necessarily. I was just like having fun. You know, it's just a toy. And then I think I saw a YouTube video with, you know what Bad Snacks is?
I've heard of Bad Snacks.
Yeah, it's this girl from, I don't know where she's from, but
nice.
Out of California.
Yeah.
Kind of coming out of the LA beat scene. I feel like, I don't think she was a part of it, but she like was born of it. In a sense.
Yeah, she was born in the
area.
Kind of, you know, got into the mix around that time.
Yeah. But she does the thing. She like has the beats playing, and she does violin. So that's like her thing. So it's like, damn, if I could like incorporate saxophone and find a way to do that, that would be dope. So I've been like at that ever since. It's like trying to meld the two worlds because I already have all this saxophone. It doesn't make sense to just not put it in with this. You know what I mean?
You goddamn right it doesn't.
Yeah. So I've been trying to work on incorporating it in a way that satisfies the listener and myself.
Interesting.
Because I can incorporate it, like I don't have a problem with that, but one of the two sides isn't going to be too happy.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Because it's like you have to. I don't have to do anything, but
you don't. You can do what the fuck you want.
Exactly. But it's just like, I just feel like, I don't know. It's hard because, like, of course, you want to satisfy others, but you want to satisfy yourself too. So that's why I'm trying to find the middle ground.
Yeah.
Because, like, I've been more on the, like, me listeners side, but, like, everybody should be able to enjoy this. I'm not saying they won't enjoy it. I'm being cryptic. So, so, like, when I make beats, you know, or whatever, then I make the beat, and then, like, with my saxophone, what I've been doing is just improvising over the beat. But instead of doing that, which is self-serving, I want to kind of let the listener, like, kind of, like, pull them in, you know, like, with the saxophone, so they can hear, like, melodies, interacting with the harmonies, versus me just blowing over the whole thing. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I just want you to know, like, you are being so caring to other people's ears, in my opinion.
I mean,
and I'm gonna tell you what. Q knows this about me. Anyone that really knows me knows this. People don't know what the fuck they want.
True.
Until you give it to them.
True.
So even though it could be self-serving.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this is self-serving. This whole shit right here is self-serving in so many ways. Like, it's so self-serving. All the same, though, the spirit of it is, like, the self-serving nature of it is, I want you all to have the platform to tell your stories.
For sure.
Fuck what other people think. True. You know, hopefully someone watches. We got the Panther here. I know QB listening in. Like, cool. That was great. I love it. But if I have 2 listeners consistently, I'm happy. Yeah. If I have 1 listener consistently, I'm ecstatic. But if no one's listening, it's just us talking, and you're telling me your story, I'm still pleased, personally. Dope. Man, I can make the content, post it out, likes, all that bullshit, yeah, whatever. Yeah. But, like, this is whole experience, good game, and everything is for me.
I feel that.
I deeply encourage you to keep what you're doing personal. Because I'll tell you what, because when you do stuff like that, in my personal opinion, this is all my personal opinion, you are going to catch the ear of someone who says, yo, I really fuck with that. And I'm going to use this to lead into my first initial question, which is, how did you feel playing your music live for the first time?
That was crazy. Because it was like, I've never done that before. Of course I play like saxophone live, but it's different, you know? I played instruments live. It's different. This is 100% me, right? So I'm just like, damn. And that's another reason, like, I was like, I really need to do this, because, like, I don't have anything out there that's 100% me. Yeah. And I'm just like, what does 100% me sound like? You know, I'm asking myself that question. It's like, I'll do stuff. It's like, is that what it sounds like? I don't know. I guess this is what it sounds like today. So it's like, dang. And like playing it live, I'm not gonna lie, preparing for the beat battle. I don't want to say I was stressing. It was like good stress, you know? Yeah. Like good anxiety. But I was like, dang. I don't have any beats to like battle with. I was like, what am I supposed to do?
Oh my god!
So this is what I did, because I went through all of my stuff that I have. It's like, these are just all incomplete ideas. None of these are cohesive, and they're not anything to battle with. So I'm just like, what am I gonna do? It doesn't make any sense, right?
It does make sense to me, man. Cause like I'm sitting here on the floor, cause I'm like, dog, this is exactly the kind of shit that be happening. It's people who have the creativity. It's all y'all motherfuckers that I've either met or ran into through other people or whatever, or like heard from recommendations, whatever. Y'all be coming in here like, if y'all have been doing it for a minute, be like, yeah, no, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just took some of this shit over here and mixed it with some of that shit right there, and that's how we got to where we got to. It does make sense to me. And it's not the fact that I've heard the story. It's just that when I hear the story, 1, it's always different. 2, it comes like, it has like the humility's consistent through and through. Y'all really be out here like, yeah, I didn't know what I was gonna do, and then you come to the battle, and I don't know that you don't know. I'm just sitting here listening like, all right, let's see what's gonna happen. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this shit. This is my first time doing this.
That's crazy.
And then y'all be out here blowing me out of the fucking, I get out of my seat. That jumping out of my seat is genuine. If I got up out of my chair, even when I just fell on the floor, that's me genuinely, I'm like, not again. Like, this shit is amazing. The story's great. So, go on. Just fucking go.
Yeah, so it's crazy because I was like, this is a beat battle. I listen to beat music. I'm don't necessarily, because when I was making, so encompasses that kind of 2 years when I first got started. Mm-hmm. When I was making beats, I didn't see them as beats. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make this song, right? Because I used to do YouTube covers, like saxophone covers. So that's my training in like Ableton and all that. So it's like, I wasn't really mixing anything. I wasn't trying to make it sound good. It's like, that sounds like how it's supposed to sound. And just like export it, play saxophone on top of it, you know, in the story. And another thing is, so it's going to sound weird too. It's going to sound so weird.
Go ahead.
So coming from
Try me.
Coming from being an instrumentalist and like playing jazz, I was real about like the integrity of music, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't quite get sampling. It's like, why would I sample when I can just like make my own thing, right?
I respect it. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't understand this. It's like, I don't get it. And then through the time from when I accepted the beat battle invitation to now, I've really appreciated what sampling is. I understand it now, right? Because like people don't like things they don't understand for some reason, but I understand it now. And it's like, I learned this, you know, it's not about just like stealing from someone and just like using a recycled idea. It's taking that and like literally like, it's like as a molding clay, right? And you're just like, you know, sculpting it into something maybe more beautiful, but it doesn't have to be. It could just be yours, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So fast forward back to, or rewind back to the beat battle. I was like, okay, so I don't have a lot of time. And I'm still new to this. So I'm just like on YouTube figuring things out. How to make this sound good. How to make drums sound decent. How to balance things. How to EQ things, right? I'm like just trying to figure it all out. Of course I had a general idea, but I was just kind of, you know, oh, that works. It's like, well, let me try and get into it, like, so I can really understand it, so that way I can like bring it to the next level. So I, you know, was on YouTube watching videos, making stuff. I did I'm not gonna say the bare minimum, but I know the rules of the beat battle.
It's
like,
okay.
You get 1 minute, right?
Yeah, keep it honest. Just keep it real.
Exactly 10 1-minute beats. Like, and that's, you know, the beat tape I just released. Mm-hmm. That's what I made for the beat battle. That was it. And I was just like, that's crazy thinking about it. But yeah, I was like, they're all gonna be a minute exactly, so I can get everything I need to say out at that one time. I don't want, like, you know, the good part to be left out over here. So everything 1 minute.
So crazy.
And it was like, they have to sound hard too, because of the beat battle. It's like, you can't walk in with like some, like, you know, do. It's gotta punch. It's gotta have some bite to it, you know, like you gotta sharpen the blade. So I'm just like, okay. It's like, I'll take and I started with sampling too, because I was like, I don't have time to like come up with original ideas and like play all this in, because how I usually do is I play it all in.
It's insane.
And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna start with a bass sample and kind of build off of that. And it's like, try things, and it's like, oh, that's cool. It's like, oh, that's cool. Then I'd find it. It's like, yes, this. It's like, make it a minute. Then like put some kind of like ups and downs and dynamics in it, so it's just not like the same exact thing for a minute. Because I don't know, I just wanted to get the full range of emotion I could out of it, you know? So I did that, and I just kept going. And I was just like, it's like, I tried to do the math in my head. It's like, okay, let's say I do win, right? So like, how many people would I be going against? So I like went, it's like, how many people were in the beat battle? It was like, okay, so I need at least this many beats. I think I undershot it by a little bit, because I didn't think of like ties. I was like, damn. So I ran out of beats fast. So I was like, no, not like this. But yeah, I was like going through it, and it's like, it's crazy. I was blowing my own mind at the time. It's like, I really did this over the course of, I forget like the exact course. Like, I probably like look up the message when you sent like, hey,
it
do you
had
want
to
to
be
do
like
this?
2 weeks.
It was not. It was not a long time.
It was not a lot of time at all.
Like,
no.
2 weeks. So I was like, I gotta get something coherent out here.
Yeah.
I was just smacking in there.
Yeah.
And then that's what That's how it is. Ever since then, though, I will say that I've definitely gotten better.
Yeah, you damn right. You placed third in that battle.
It's crazy. I was not expecting
like a clean third. Like it wasn't like this is a toss up. This was like nah. This my man. You was shocking people.
Oh man.
Folks was around like I remember people being like, what? Like who is this person? Like where did he come from? Where did y'all get him from? I was just sitting there like, cause you can't. You were at the first one.
I went to. I think I heard about it on Instagram from somebody that was in the battle.
Jamie was in the first one. I swear that's maybe why I thought I saw you.
I was. Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to that one. I was like, yo, this is dope. I want to do this.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you. So like,
Yeah.
how do you? And he's like, it's invitational. So it's like, I've got some people. So okay, cool, whatever. So I'm chilling. I'm not like on the offensive because I know I don't got music. So I'm just like, okay, cool. It's like I got time. Like if he does call, it's like I got time to make some stuff. And like I was making stuff, but it was just like leisurely. Just da 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 da. And then he hit me up. I was like, damn. I was like, I gotta make some stuff now.
Jeez.
Which is like a good motivator, because it's like I don't want to like get out there and like have you seen that meme where it's like the producer and he's like over here jamming, but it's like beep, boop, boop. It's like trash.
I've seen that.
You've seen that? Oh, I gotta find it somewhere. But
I need to see that. That's great.
But yeah, it's like I can't be like that. I can't go out like that.
You have too much of a musical background.
Yeah,
it's an idea for like showmanship to some degree. Having played in bands,
for sure.
I'd imagine that to some degree influences like why that mentality is like that.
Yeah, I think so. Because it was like, and it's weird because like, I don't know. Like I'm at a certain level on saxophone. Like if I have to get ready for a gig, I can do it. I'm not gonna say every gig, but certain things I'll prepare. Like I'll do some not shopkeeping, some housekeeping, just to make sure everything's good for the day of the gig. Dang. Even if that means like a couple hours before, then I still gotta like get good or get there, depending on the gig, of course. Yeah. But my problem is I procrastinate a lot, and I think I can do that with everything, like literally everything. And it's like I'll get there, it's like, damn, I can't. And it's like sometimes it works out, but it's like it would have been better if I'd started earlier, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what you have to keep telling yourself, like especially because I procrastinate all the time. But
I do too.
Yeah,
that's why you got a 2-week notice. I'm procrastinating. That's the worst part when procrastinators meet. They cross paths. Okay. It's just like
it's a mess. But yeah. Forgot what I was talking about.
You were preparing, so you said since then, since the beat battle itself, where you kind of been? Like
I feel like I've been getting better because with the beat battle I made like 10 1-minute beats. It was like that's dope and all, but I gotta keep the momentum. Like I don't want to slow back down.
Interesting.
So it's like I just gotta keep making stuff. Of course, it wasn't 1-minute beats this time, so it's like how do I make it longer and interesting?
Yeah.
So or at least like satisfy me, because I'll like listen to it, and by the time you're done making it, you're just like I've heard this so many times, I'm bored of it. So it's just like I gotta make it interesting for me, and that's kind of where like the saxophone comes in too, because it's like if it's playing for however long, and it's like kind of like drawing on, I can just use my saxophone to like
funk it up.
Yeah, and so it's like bring myself back in it, in a way.
So this leads me to my next question for you. Since you've really been creating more, and you have a goal in mind, so to speak, or at least a direction, I should say. How have you adjusted your life to balance both playing music and living like you have been before you were really playing music, when you were doing it more as like a hobby, so to speak? How's that balance been
I just saw. So you mean kind of like, like messing with like beats, just like as a hobby, like for fun, versus like getting out and having a goal with it.
Pre-battle.
Okay.
When you're you go to work.
Mm-hmm.
You go, you might play around, mess with your SP, learn something, play sax over whatever, improvise. You're like, oh shit, this thing's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You've done this live show, and as I understand it, because I guess you talked to Hunter that same day after your battle, the day of your battle, and then you did a cartridge show like the week after. So that cartridge show has led to other experiences for you.
Yes.
So now you're doing this way more.
Yeah.
How have you been balancing that?
Got you. I see now. Poorly. Next question.
It's okay.
So it's like, man. So working, of course, takes up a set amount of time, and I think I've been at the same job since that. But working, of course, takes a lot of time. Mm-hmm. What I used to do in my spare time before like getting heavy into making beats and music was Twitch streaming. I would just like hop on, play some video games, right? And I was doing that for a while. That was like, like the birth of Quirklesswonder as a content creator, individual, whatever. And I was, streaming. I was getting my numbers up. I was really putting in. I'm not gonna lie. I got into so many skills streaming. Because it's not just streaming.
No, it's not.
You gotta learn how to edit video. You gotta learn how to make thumbnails. I was heavy into. I'm not as heavy as I could have been, but I was like in there. I had to learn how to use OBS. Mm-hmm. It was a lot. And I was like doing that for a minute. I got all this like stuff. I built a PC, so I'm just like set. Luckily, I built it right before COVID. Or no, I think it was the beginning of COVID, and everything was still cheap. Then right after, I think September of 2020, everything just the graphics cards, everything. So I got lucky. I built my PC for $200.
Damn.
Yeah, and I got an aftermarket card off the OfferUp for I think 60.
Damn.
So I was chilling with my my GTX. What was it?
Wouldn't be a
760.
760?
Yeah, it's an old one.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, but I was playing games. I was streaming on it. It was working. But so I was doing streaming. Then I started getting more music, and I tried to cross the path. I tried to stream my music making on Twitch, but it was a headache to set up.
Interesting.
Because it was the way you have to route the audio from Ableton in through. The way I wanted to do it was just so convoluted. Yeah. And then when I wasn't streaming and I wanted to use Ableton, I had to reroute it all back just so I can hear it normally. Yeah. So I was just that's doing too much. It's I'll figure it out later. Yeah. So I just want to focus on making music, right? Yeah. So I kind of leaned towards that way, and I kind of fell off of streaming. I'd try and come back every now and again, but it's just it wasn't happening. I'm recently trying to kind of tiptoe back into it, but you have to be consistent with that. That's the thing, and it's just hard. Yeah. It is not an easy feat. I applaud every streamer I know and watch. It's you do this and you do it consistently. That's insane.
It is. Because
you might have the worst day, you still got to come home and stream. Of course you can take a day off, but that day off's gonna turn into a week off and it's a month off. So, so yeah, it's just. I decided to put it on the back burner for now, kind of build this skill up, and then try and get back into it, see how that works out.
Interesting. So what games were you streaming when you were streaming?
What was I streaming? A lot of Nintendo Switch games. Okay. Because I just got the little Elgato HD 60. So I was streaming I think I was streaming Pokemon, streamed Sword and Shield. I streamed... what other Switch games? I had the Switch Super Mario Maker 2. I streamed. I'm trying to remember. Because early on it was only Nintendo Switch games. Then I got PC games, started streaming some what's the game that everyone Amnesia? Stream some Amnesia. I can't remember now. It's crazy. I streamed some Apex, of course.
It's a big variety stream.
Oh no, for sure. I was just all over the place. I was just like, I want to play games. I want to play this game, and I'm gonna stream it.
Oh yeah, that's how it starts for a lot of folks, for real.
For sure.
And it's doing that, like you said, doing it consistently.
Yeah.
It's weird how much of a difference it makes, and it's even weirder when you realize like how the streaming space isn't too different from like the music space in terms of just industry. In that, if you're friends with someone, say you're a rapper and you're friends with other rappers who are famous, and you get on a track with them, the likelihood of you shooting up, if you're good, is a lot higher than if you're just like starting out. You gotta go through to your footwork kind of shit. It's very similar in streaming. The only difference is in music, from music and streaming, is it takes a lot longer, I think, for a streamer.
Yeah.
Unless, because like if you're a bad rapper, you just suck at rapping. You just suck at rapping, and it's gonna go. Take. Or if you don't like the deals you've been getting screwed over, all that kind of shit. Because there are a lot of different things that can go wrong. I've been hearing the stories, and they really hurt my spirit. All the same, for streamers, like people think like, oh, I just have to talk and play, and then you realize talking and playing is hard. Having a personality
at the same time, having a personality on camera, that's the big part. Yeah. Because a lot of people will just get on, and it's just like, I'll watch them. Like I'm guilty of this, of course, because everyone had to go through that threshold. But
yeah, starting out,
you just kind of sit there and you're doing the thing, and you let's say you're over here and you see a chat, you're just like, oh hi, and you just like go back to doing that's. Some people can do it, depending on what you got going on, but that's not like people come there for interaction. That's the whole point of the stream. Like if you just want to play video games, turn the camera off.
Right.
Know? So it's just like making it a cohesive experience for both parties, but also like having fun with being yourself. Yeah. In front of people. That's hard.
It's a difficult task. So, speaking of which, I am.
Did I answer the question? What was the question?
You look here. One, yes.
I just be talking.
That's the point. Good. Talk. We here. It's okay. All this is a formality. Okay? Deep down, like, sure, like I said, there's a deep sense of, like, selfishness going on here. It's shit that I want to do. The reality situation is, I also, while I want you to share your story, I'm the kind of person who, when I like to listen to stories,
Gotcha.
I like to talk too. I used to talk a lot. More so now have I found joy in hearing the experiences of others.
Gotcha.
Us talking and you just talking, all that shit, fucking go ahead. That's what we're here. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for that shit.
For sure.
I want to make sure that people who don't know you get a chance to get to know you.
For sure.
And that's the important part,
I feel that.
Both in your life and in music and, well, I guess in as much as you're willing to share, honestly. Because this is to me, this is, when you get lost talking, I'm like, this is authentic. This is what Chef's Keith, always good.
It doesn't make sense. Like, I think I might have ADHD too, so I'll be weaving.
It's okay.
I just gotta reel it in.
No. Focusing too hard on something is like, it's just as bad as like not focusing at all. It's like the thought of like, I don't know if you've heard like being too cautious, you're bound to get hurt. It's taking too many precautions. You gotta be loose, live a little, ebb and flow. Sure. I've dealt with tech gremlins in this shit. People have had to deal with like extremely like wild shit in this experience, and like you said, even your experience starting off as a streamer, it's ebbing and flowing, getting through the threshold.
For sure.
And you're getting through the threshold. We're doing it together. Yeah. And now we get to just talk about that. Because you've gotten through this threshold. The fact that you very strategically put together 10 beats to come to a battle with, that battle led you to getting in really like meeting other producers more and engaging with them, and then also like talking to Hunter, who is like the person you want to know around here, like one of the people you really want to know around here.
Definitely.
To now you're like doing more and more shows here, you know, here and there. I know you like rock with the Tech and Chill crew too. Like, it's awesome.
It's crazy.
That is a crazy amount of progression in such a short period of time. It's only been a few months.
That's. I still be thinking, I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, this was last year into this year.
Yeah.
And not even just like last year. You were in the third beat battle, which was in like September.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't do one in October. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
This is a super short amount of time. It's been like 6 months, 8 months.
And you'll have to thank for that?
You.
Because if I never would have entered the beat battle, or I never would have, let's just say if I never would have entered the beat battle, I probably wouldn't have had that drive to keep making music the way I make music. In that regard.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm not gonna say like I would have never started, but like that was just like an amazing launching pad.
Just keep that frame. Like, that's important.
Yeah.
You be accountable.
Oh no! I feel you. It's like definitely, but it's just like it's crazy because it's like the happenstance of events, and then like at the beat battle, you know, I was talking to Haunter about doing that set at Cartridge. I did the set at Cartridge, and
what was that like? The first set at Cartridge.
First set, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I bombed. I feel like it was trash.
Really?
I was like, damn, I'm never gonna get invited back because I ruined it. Because it was weird. Because I'm not gonna blame it on externals, but because it was like the sound. Because they were at
Georgia Beer Garden at the time.
No, it was the garage place. You know what I'm talking about? West Side Motor Lounge. Yeah. And the sound, it was coming through like the overhead. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have like a monitor, so I was just hearing like the outward sound. They had a monitor. Kumasanti was saying that it was like a delay, so it would have just sounded bad. So I was like, dang. So I think I tried to plug in my headphones, but I don't know if I brought headphones, but it just wasn't feeling the same because I couldn't feel the music. I could just hear it, and I just really wanted to. And it's like I'm in front of people. It's my first time. I tried to incorporate my earphones, like the electric saxophone, through Ableton. That wasn't working, so that threw me off again. I was like, dang. And I was just like, I had like, so again with like the beat battle, it's like I had those 10 beats. It's like time to make some more music. So I was like made some stuff, but it was like kind of rushed because I didn't have a lot of time. So it's like what I made, I wasn't entirely like happy with. So it was just like, it was like the perfect storm of bad events. And I was like, dang. And that made me, it was like, I have to do better next time. It's like no matter when it is or where it is, I just have to do better. And what was it, the next show after that? I think it was at the East Atlanta Treehouse place.
In the Dark.
In the Dark, yeah. And that one was better. I was like, okay, bet. But it has to be better. So it's just been like this, kind of trying to one up myself. It's like, oh, I have to get, it's like, this is what went wrong with this one, so let's work on this time. That's what went wrong on this one. Let's work on that and just keep it going.
Little by little. I fuck with it.
Little by little.
To that, though, then I can ask you, like, since you kind of answered this already, but can you really describe what your experience playing shows has been like so far? Like, how you answered this. You spoke to it in saying like you want to feel what you're playing.
Yeah.
From that first experience, that really meant like that really stood out to me. You saying that because this is a very like intrinsic experience for you too. So you want to be better than yourself, yet somehow, because you said this earlier, you're trying to find the balance of like doing what you think the crowd would want versus doing what you would want. So how do you how does that manifest in like as you've been doing these shows? Like how does it feel when you're playing? You know.
So it's interesting because when I'm doing shows, I kind of go into performance mode, and my performance mode is it's weird because like I have like crazy anxiety, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my performance mode is like it's weird. I almost shut myself down a little bit, which I need to stop doing. I'm working on it. It's getting better. Like it's a slow progression, but I'm just doing my best.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I just have to more like let loose. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I don't really look people in the face. Like I'll look at like foreheads before I look at like the face.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially crowds. Like crowds is thing. Give me one-on-one. It's like a group of people. I'm chill. But like crowds, it's weird. And I've been doing this for a long time, which doesn't make any sense, right? I've been doing this technically since middle school. Like playing in front of large crowds, doing music in front of large crowds. So I'm just like, I've gotten used to it to a point where it's like I'm fine doing it, but I have my coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
And sometimes the coping mechanisms are a handicap because I can't relax to let loose like I should. It's more like I'm like not stepping on eggshells, but being too cautious, like you were saying earlier. Be too cautious to get hurt. But I found a happy medium for now, but I'm still working on just not giving a fuck. To be honest, that's my goal. Like in performance in general, it's just to not care what anybody thinks, but to the point that people just like they don't have a choice but to like love it. You know what I mean?
It's to fuck with it.
Yeah, it's like because that's what it's really about.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the goal, like the I will say like the musical nirvana, right? It's like I've reached enlightenment because I can do whatever I want because I want to do it and people still vibe with it. You know what I mean? And I've been doing that musically, I would say a little bit, but I want to do it to the point where it's just like overwhelming.
Yeah.
And people just like they feel that energy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like imagine like filling like a meter, but it's like not quite full yet. But it's like you're still doing the same thing to fill the meter, right? So once it gets to that point or like above that point, then it's just like, oh, that's it right there. And I see the people, like the crowd as the top of the meter. And I'm like right here. And it's like I'm getting closer and closer to that. It's just weird.
No,
it's weird.
it's not even weird. This actually starts to make a lot of sense with what you're suggesting.
I appreciate you, by the way.
In that, like, you're using I think, and again, this is my personal thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how a person think about shit. Because, the industry, they'll tell you, like, oh, you gotta do what people think is hype. You gotta do you win the crowd with what we know the crowd likes. If you're in anybody's A&R, anybody's kind of business, oh, you gotta keep the show going. You're a DJ, keep the crowd moving kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you can,
Mm-hmm.
There's a place for it.
For sure.
I also think though, like the people who really do it the best that I've seen and really fuck with, they look like they're in their flow state.
Yeah.
As the first part of the meet. Well, that is the next part of the meter. Like they know the crowd's there. They can see them. They keep them moving. When they get into the mix, their mix, then they get to that's the bar. Yeah. So I think I think you might be doing it in reverse. That's just my
I'll think about that.
Yeah, like it's the thing, like, so for me, one thing that I've noticed organically and being like authentic with you yourself, I think involves a level of kind of like what you were saying earlier. It's like not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Where you're like, okay, I came here to do this. This is what I came with. I like what I'm doing here. And then you as an artist, it's you know, in a lot of ways, it's a lot like jazz. If you're doing a set and you start deciding, oh, I want to mix this into it during the set, that's your jazz set. Now you're fucking doing what you want to do.
Gotcha.
You don't have you already have what you think the crowd will like. First part of the meter is set. Part 2, now Quirklesswonder gets to be fucking Quirklesswonder.
Gotcha.
And really fucking ball out and do what you want to do.
Definitely.
I think it helps. And this is the other thing I was gonna ask you too, is like your performance mode now, is it similar to your performance mode when you were playing in bands and when you were doing jazz? Or if you're doing a jazz gig, are those the same two performers? Or are they different?
Kind of similar.
Okay.
And the weird thing is, like, coming from the jazz world, like, you know, like, you're like, even like at jam sessions or whatever, not necessarily everybody, but I don't know where this came. Thinking about it, it's weird to think about, like, it's like, where does this come from? It doesn't make any sense. But it's like, coming from the jazz world, which before jazz, coming from the classical world, everything's kind of just like, you know, prim proper, well, not prim proper, but like, you know, just like lax, you know, like we're not like, you know, like jumping up and down. I mean, some people are, but like it's like
Beethoven be fucking the shit up.
Yeah, so, but it's just like more reserved, especially in the classical sense.
Yeah, it's very proper. It's very clean. Yeah, very clean cut.
Yeah,
you know.
And then getting into jazz, that was my like, I guess like my bad boy phase away from classical. You want to think of it like that. And then like now this is the like the
it's
next
the advancement of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
you know what's beautiful about that? Hip hop comes from jazz.
That it does.
Jazz comes from what? Well, jazz has been around for a long time, but largely like a lot of blues influences in that. Big band, a lot of that.
For sure.
It comes from a place of pain. It comes from an authentic, a deep place, a deep well.
All that emotion.
And in order to have that deep well, you have to tell your story. You have to be vulnerable.
For sure. In
order to be vulnerable, you have to be comfortable to some degree, or even uncomfortable, I'd imagine, for some artists, like being you in front of a lot of people who don't know you.
Yeah.
You know? It leaves the clear-cut pattern of which is a beautiful, you know, just classical. I love classical. I grew up on classical too.
Yeah.
It leaves that prim and proper of this is how we're supposed to talk. This is how we're supposed to act. You've been going through those stages. You went from like you said, the clean cut, the so to say traditional, to the alternative, to the alternative of the alternative.
Yes, I never thought about it like that, to be honest. Which is crazy because that's literally progression. I literally never thought of that like that. That's crazy. You've progressed through history. You're progressing through your own personal history in a lot of ways. I should write things down. That's why I'm trying to get more into like writing things down. Keep like a memoir. That's what my Instagram is. I feel like it's like not like that I'm putting everything on there, but like milestones. Like I want to remember this.
Yeah. It's your album.
Post. Yeah,
it's your archive.
Yeah, definitely.
So-called time capsule. Right?
Yeah. In this case, it's like actually, that's what social media is, really. Yeah. Honestly.
It is. You know, they're watching us. So there's that.
they can watch all they want. I don't care. Yeah. Like all these people, like they're just like, oh man, I don't want them listening. I'm just like, hey, listen to me. I don't care. Like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm chilling.
Out here
it's like, you want to listen to this beat?
It's like, FBI, are you feeling the vibe? You get a call from the FBI like, yo, this shit is hot.
It's like, let me know. Put me on.
Turn it up. Please. Thank you. Where'd you get that sample from, yo? Yeah. It's like the commissioners and shit. I
couldn't imagine. I would love for some shit like that. Like, yo, we was listening to your Instagram post. Like, who the fuck is this? This is Washington? This is the White House? Like, nigga, what? Secret Service in this bitch just tuned in.
That's crazy.
Fucking turned up. So, to that, my last question for you, like, what are some of the goals you would like to accomplish in music and what you're creating, and out of music? I think you kind of spoke to a little bit in music, but I'm still want to ask the question. Like, what are those goals?
For sure. So, I'll start with recently. I was at the Candle Walks thing. I saw you there, and I like got up for play some beats, and it was crazy because people started dancing. I was like, what? That's different. So it's just like, maybe I am doing something right, It's a little validation. Not that I need validation, but it's just like, okay. It's just kind of like seeing things and observing and like taking what works for you in that particular point in time and elevating that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my goal is to it's like if somebody's listening to me play, especially live, like if it's like in the car or anything, like I'm chill. You do whatever you want. Like people listen to music. They have their own thing they do, like their own rituals. But you listen to my music live. I want you to do something. It's like, don't ignore me. It's like, you look over here.
Hell yeah.
So that's my goal, is to not necessarily be more in your face, but just to do some stuff that just like people are just like, huh? It's like, I don't care if it's a good reaction, bad reaction. I just want a reaction, right? So I'm just like, do something. And that's like my main thing right now is what I like right now, what I'm into right now, when I make stuff, is just like, I want it to be either, most of it I want it to be beautiful, just like beautiful music. That's just like that's what I like, right? Or just like sinister.
Okay.
Just like evil, just like dirty.
Damn.
So it's like there's a duality, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times that comes out together. Like I'll like play like some beautiful stuff. And it's like, oh, that's pretty, and then just like drop it. You know what I mean? Or it's like that's the vibe the whole time. It just depends on how long it is and what I'm trying to do with it.
Yeah.
So of course I'd like, being like someone that makes music, I want that to translate to the listener, but people take things differently. You can't necessarily want them to take it the way you intend. So it depends on how, like, however they take it, whatever. And it's just, I want to use my skills, everything I have to just kind of, I don't want to say teach the listener, but just like show them something. That sounds cliche. It's like,
No.
It's something that they've never heard before.
Yeah.
That's just like, damn, that's different. Like, not different to the point where it's just like, it's just different for the sake of being different. But just like, wow, like, I never thought of it like that type. It's like, oh, I never thought of it like that. Because I like when that happens to me. It's like, oh, damn, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Because like, recently, something I've been doing, and it like inspired. It's getting lower.
Probably. It'll be okay. Still pick you up. Let me fix it.
I don't want to like accidentally hit it.
Gosh, it's okay. I'll fix it.
But
recently.
Yeah, my thing is like going like, what kind of like rave type, like EDM, places that play EDM, like listen to those live DJs.
You all are entering a different fucking world.
Yeah, because it's like, that's crazy. I'll listen to it because I have my mindset on not how music should sound, but it's like, like I have I'm building my producer chops, I have my producer ears now, like not just the musician ears, but the producer ears. So I'm just like listening to things like, why are they doing that? And it's like, look at the people, and it's like, they're really liking that. And it's like, I'll kind of like surmise in my head, like, kind of like why they're doing the things that they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, you'll hear one DJ, like everything's like mixed, everything's like studio quality. you know, like really good, and then you hear someone else come up next, and it's like mixed good, but it's just like things are like louder, like certain things are louder, certain things are softer.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why are they doing that? And then like you start to see, it's like, oh, I see why they're doing that. Like I was at this event, and one of the DJs got up there, and it was like the snare was just like ignorant. It was just like,
what do you mean when you say ignorant?
it was like just like the loudest thing in the mix, but it was just like it was very, I'll just say it's very present.
Yeah.
Which nothing wrong with that, of course. It was just like, why is it so loud?
Keeping my shit back where it was.
I don't know. You're good.
It's
You're
okay.
good.
I'm sorry. I'm fucking around with like.
No. It's a process.
I was thinking about this shit. I'm like, I want it. It's okay.
I usually put mine on a tripod. So
I need to get tripod for. Let's get this. It's contact gremlins. It's okay.
Man, it's whatever. But I'm just like finding out these things, and it's just like opens like a whole new world for me. I'm just like, that's crazy. I never thought of it like that. Like, of course, like everyone's not gonna have that thought because not everyone makes music, but like in their own way, I want them to have that. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
You know? Does that make sense?
It makes a ton of sense. I want to apologize because I think it's important to reiterate this point. So like I was saying earlier, this is about you. This is about your experience. It's about what you want to share. This is about what you, and it may seem selfish. I think there's a beauty in, I've been personally experiencing, there's a beauty and a good balance of selfishness where because you are taking time for yourself, you're able to heal. Because you're doing something for yourself, you're able to learn more with more intensity, more focus.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a creator, if you're creating to give, I think you're creating with a kind heart. When you're giving yourself, it comes to a point where you're giving your soul, you're giving your emotion,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're giving your heart. I think a lot of times that's what really draws the attention. I think it's what you're speaking to. When you say it's what you want to do with music, you want to draw, you want to hook someone in, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yo, shit is different.
For sure.
Yeah, it's different. Because you are a unique individual. You have plenty of quirks. That's the beauty of it. Oh, it's like galaxy brain. It's like
broke the sixth wall.
Like, holy shit. It's like, oh my god, the quirks were in me the entire time. But like dead ass, like they are. We're all a little, you know, the beauty of us all being a little different is in a lot of ways we are also the same, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many things where I'm watching, I'm like, oh my gosh. And all these people I've interviewed so far, I'm like, holy shit, I see that element of me in them. And now y'all, we didn't grow up together.
Yeah. It's crazy.
We didn't even grow up in the same places for real. For like we did, but like we didn't.
Yeah.
You know, around the same people.
Mm-hmm.
Or we all share a similar spirit, though. You know,
Yeah.
in some ways. And I think, you know, we all share, all our souls feel the way a soul should. You know, to me, that's our core. That's our center for feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of that, there is that similarity. This is why we're able to see so much. However, we're still our own, while still also being our own individual people.
Yeah.
We're able to have those similarities while still being different. I look forward to the opportunities where I can see more of the vulnerable you.
Oh, for sure.
And hear how that manifests in your music. That does not negate the second half of this question, though, which I think is also important, because this also has to do with you. What do you want to do for, like, out of music? What are your goals for life?
My goals for
Just
life.
in general, like, what are some goals that you have? You a working man.
True. So I have a plan to. It's like I feel like everything comes in stages, right?
100%.
I have a plan to, which I hate saying it, because it's like I should just do it. Why am I talking about it? But I want to do music for like movies and TV, but not in the, I guess, the traditional sense, like composing a score, which I don't have any qualms about that, but that's just not, I don't think that's what I'm trying to get into specifically. But I'm trying to get into that why am I forgetting the name? It's like the licensing.
Sync licensing.
Sync licensing, yeah. Sync licensing. And I would like research that a little bit. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that until I get LLC. And I was like procrastinating because I get LLC. It's like, but yeah, I'm planning on starting that this year. So getting the LLC, getting all that paperwork and such, and then starting with the Sync licensing. Which technically I don't need an LLC, but I just feel like the more official, the more eyes you'll have on you, because it was like, oh, you know, we can trust this guy. We're not gonna worry about any legal blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like,
I'll tell you what, like transparently.
yeah.
It's, you know, there is getting the LLC. I think that's a smart approach for the sake of being official. I would recommend talking to a lot of the other producers to find out what other aspects you need.
For sure.
Because those legalities do start to come into play very quickly.
And my thing is, I don't want to mess up, like
That's
getting out of the gate.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I would highly recommend talking to Q.
Oh,
Q was telling me shit like last year, like around like September, that I would end up here, or like around like August, that I would end up hearing in like September and October, and I have to be like, damn, Q was kind of telling me about this shit already. And it was like, even if it was like kind of loose, they were still telling me about it, and I was just like, and then I hear it, and I'll be like, ah, fuck. And then I hear it even more from other people, from other producers around the space, and they're like, I'm like, damn. They, like, the homies know what's up. Y'all are, while you all are a collective of creatives, you all, and you may not see yourselves as this is whatever, I see you all as a cohort, so to speak. And as with any cohort, there are rivalries and there's competition. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think that you all need to make sure that you are also sharing knowledge. You know, the only knowledge you have to withhold is your particular style. It's like kung fu.
For sure.
You know, that's how I think about the shit. Why hold it back any other way? Let's get the kung fu out. Let's fucking share the knowledge so our kung fu gets stronger, and then we can fucking keep doing kung fu.
For sure.
It's cold-blooded. It's like, I don't know if you ever watched The Five Venoms.
No. Actually.
Oh, Quirklesswonder.
You know, it's crazy. My uncle like loves kung fu movies. Like I watch like all the Ip Mans. I just need to watch more kung fu movies.
No, the Ip Mans are good. Remember, you saw the first one then.
Yeah.
So you saw in the very beginning when they were doing the different battles, all the schools are battling. And like Master Ip schools, like the cold school, but like everybody else is coming out with their own different styles. Like that's the same kind of shit. It's the exact same thing. You know, all the schools different. You all are your own individual schools battle. I think your desire to be a part of like the sync licensing community is a solid one. I get it. I can understand that. You know, it's royalties. It's opportunities to have your music heard without having to be too in the front of the shit. You know, it can be a very quaint life and very nice way to keep some residual income coming in.
For sure.
I hope you're able to attain that.
Me too.
Seriously.
But that being said, I still want to do shows, right? So I definitely want to keep that aspect going because I like performing. Like I can't not perform. I have a degree in music performance. not that the piece of paper matters, but you know that's what I'm about.
Yeah,
you know?
it's in your spirit.
It's in me.
You have the spirit of a jazz player.
Oh man.
So it's good. As long just be careful drinking and doing drugs.
That's what tends to take out a lot of the jazz players, the ones that didn't make it too long. They were great though. Don't get it wrong.
Oh, for sure.
They were great. It's just, you know.
All those vices.
All the vices.
It's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah. It's good you got a girlfriend. That means that you got one vice covered already. Just be there like, now I don't need to worry about all the other pussy being thrown at me.
Yeah.
Now I got my baby. This is my meme. This is my meme. This is like a fucking BB King. This is my meme.
What was his guitar's name? Was that Lucille? Was that BB King?
Maybe, I don't know. Guitar, yeah, I think it was BB King. Lucille, yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds right. It sounds very like 50s and 60s. So
It's just somewhere in there. It's in there.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, those are all the questions I have for you. Would you be willing to play like a 15-minute set?
I'm down.
Cool. Because you have this live camera, you'll be able to see the time live.
Hey.
Which no one else is. Well, okay, people have been able to been figuring out how to get it in the mix more and more. But like, there's a timer there. There's gonna be a timer there, and it's gonna be in program. Yeah, it's all gonna be the same timer. So your power cord is not even plugged in.
Oh, I got this little.
Is it on? Is that on?
It's about to be. Okay, don't embarrass me.
Don't stress. I have batteries.
I have a power cord too. It's just this is just more convenient. You know what I mean?
I got you. It's okay.
Did I plug it in? Yeah, it's plugged in.
Yeah, it's plugged in there.
It'd be hit or miss too. Oh, turning it off. It's like starting the car. It's like start.
Are you hot? Would you like me to turn the air on? I can turn some air on.
Yeah,
we can
cool.
cool
A little bit of air. Okay.
Let's go. I'm getting sticky.
It don't.
That's the
act
reason.
Right.
It's okay.
That's alright. Might have to charge it. Power strip down there.
Yep. Got a surge protector down there. Got one down here too.
Dope.
Ooh. Excuse me. Mango juice is busting.
It is. I was like over here.
Mango juice be hitting. I'll be like, oh. I go to Publix. I'll be fucking it up. I go to the same Publix all the time to get my mango juice, and those people have to know me by now. Cause I'm pretty sure like the one dude, he's got like this like orange hair. You be looking at me like, I saw you yesterday. I be in that bitch every day. Every day.
It's fucking up the mango juice.
Dog, it's delicious. It's hard not to fuck up. Oh, this is me fucking up. It's hard not to fuck up the mango. It's hard not to want to. It's so good.
True.
So good. It's not bad for you. It's good for you.
Mm-hmm. Trying to set this up.
Take your time.
I just put a new joint on here I made today.
I'm excited. Okay, I'm gonna turn our mics down.
Oh, it's cool.
That's We are prepared. I can't wait either. I'm excited. Y'all know how I get. I'll be in this bitch turned up. You would think I was somebody's parent. No, that's me. This mic. It's feedback.
Said play with my pussy, but don't play with my emotions. If you spend some money, then maybe I just might. Wanna shake that ass and do the shit in slow motion. You got a whole lot of cash, and nigga, you know I play with my pussy, but don't play with my emotions. If you spend some money, then maybe I just might fuck you. Wanna shake that ass and do the shit in slow motion. You got a whole lot of cash, and nigga, you know I want it. Break some bread up, nigga, that butter might. Gang talk money, then really that's none of my business. I don't even need these lenses. 20 on 20, my vision. Bad yellow bitch with an eye on the price, but nigga, I ain't no million. Millions, thousands, billions. Vibes on me like Dylan. Browns on me like Hilton. Windows on me like William. Shouting, digging. Look at me like I'm alien. Bitch, I'm fucking reptilian. Bitch, all y'all bitches was wrong. Talking about I fell out. You ain't even get out. Bitch, all y'all bitches is precious. I mean to say jealous. All y'all bitches is jealous. Bitch. Said play with my pussy, but don't play with my emotions. Spend some money, then maybe I just might. Wanna shake that ass and do the shit in slow motion. You got a whole lot of cash, and nigga, you know I want it. Play with my pussy, but don't play with my emotions. If you spend some money, then maybe I just might fuck you. Wanna shake that ass and do the shit in slow motion. You got a whole lot of cash, and nigga, you know I want it.
I was getting lost in the mix.
No.
I know. I'm sitting over here like I was literally just getting lost. I'm like nodding my head into shits. Oh my lord, you good? It's okay.
Okay, bye.
We won't be here much longer. I know that bounce was nasty, wasn't it, McPants? That shit was bust. That shit was amazing. God damn. Okay, so thank you for that moment. Oh my lord, that was great.
Thank you.
I was getting there. I was even I'm like, God damn. All right, so Quirklesswonder, first, thank you for this set.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Normally in this time, I have something for you as a response. However, after I made my purchase, I received items that were not the right fucking items.
Oh damn.
How that and I'll show you after, so you know I'm not bullshitting. However, I do have an item. The right items are on their way. I'm going to show you what it looks like. I asked you what size shirt you have.
Oh yeah,
that's this large shirt right here. So this is I'll give you the full image here. I'll show you. You can see it right there. That's going to be a shirt for you. So that shirt is from Apparel Art. They're a dope, like, independent brand that I'm like aware of.
Yeah,
it's literally.
I think I've heard them. I think I've seen them like at a convention or something.
They go to conventions. I go to a lot of conventions too. I wanted to just show you that this is coming for you.
That's dope.
Unfortunately,
Lotus Lady.
Yeah, it's fucking. I thought this design was cool. Q helped me pick out the color on it. I'll just be looking and be like, what do we think? Like, okay, this is what I want to get. Like, what color do you think? So it thank you for the music. This is on its way. I will get it to you. I am very excited I wasn't able to give it to you in person.
Oh no, you're good. I mean, the fact that you got me anything, that blows my mind.
It's on its way. Like, I'm gonna show you what they sent and what was sent, because I don't think it was their fault. I imagine they go through a manufacturer, and the manufacturer sends like whatever, and it happened through the shit. And I got in touch with them. They were real cool about getting the right things sent back. So I'm gonna send those shirts back because I like to keep things 100.
I feel you.
All the same, though, you've been paid as well.
I appreciate that as well.
You're very welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You didn't have to do any of this.
I know,
honestly.
but I wanted to because, like I said, this is for me. It's like, fuck all y'all. I'm playing. No, I wanted.
You know, I've been in the streets.
I've been in the streets of this bitch. Like, this is for me. All jokes aside, like, you know, while it is, again, like, there's a little element of selfishness, I just think it's really cool. I used to grow up listening to, like, different artists, like, interviews and things of that nature, and I love hearing about businesses being started and how they failed and all those things. I used to read about that shit because my dad. But it's like all these things, you know, when I think about this space, I'm like, there's so many cool creatives out here.
For sure.
I would love, along with this battle experience that we had, for you all to be able to tell your stories.
Definitely. And I appreciate you. I appreciate that. Like, I've been, like, recently, especially, I've just been heavy into just, like, music podcasts, right? And it'll be, like, I don't know if you know, like, Broken Record, where it's, like, artists talking, like Rick Rubin. And he's just,
I do.
Like,
I know what you're talking about.
So the other thing, like Kendrick talked. There's been so many people that have just been, like, sat down and had a conversation. It's like not necessarily about music. It can lean that way if it needs to, but it's just like, you know, talking about like life experiences, all that. I've been loving that. And then another one of my favorite people to listen to. Do you know Kiefer?
I don't. Kiefer.
Oh man, Kiefer.
That sounds familiar.
Kiefer? Yes, he's one of my favorite pianists right now.
Same.
Dude, I love his work.
You might have told me about him.
You know Kiefer.
I do?
You know
Like,
Kiefer.
one of his beats, and I was like, this Kiefer, what you know about him? You might have him on one of your playlists.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's dope. I think he's like, is he like Jewish?
I'm not sure. I know he's out of LA though.
Yeah, but I just love his sound, dude.
Same.
Oh my God.
He's killing.
It's so nostalgic.
So like it's just
A
so
is
tasteful.
My favorite track by him. That was the first track I heard. But the original YouTube version, where it was like a music video.
Yeah.
It was like a animated video with like that's actually really popular. I think it was like a Dominican or like it was like a Latino like anime type of movie about this guy that was like really into like jazz and his wife died.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like based off something.
Yeah, the video that they had on YouTube. I don't know if it was his video or not, but that's when I first heard him and I was like,
he's crazy. You know he has a podcast too.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I gotta watch
I've been listening to that recently.
Oh,
and he talks like literally like all my favorite people, like especially like from like the jazz EDM, like getting into that. I was like, yo, that's crazy. It's like awesome. This exists, and now that you're doing it, and just like, cause I literally before you even like did this, I was thinking it's like, you know, like after I feel like I've gotten to where I wanted to get with like this beat stuff, I'm gonna start a podcast and just talk to people I know and just like, you know.
Fucking do it. Do it.
I mean, like you're doing it, and I appreciate that.
Do it too. Keep letting.
I'll do it at some point. I'll do it at some
point.
I'm definitely gonna do it. I just don't know when that point is. I know the people I want to talk to. You're gonna be on that list.
I appreciate it. Like my old man says, keep on living. That is the important part.
I think that's what gets us to where we want to end up being. So like sometimes we think we know, and we might know what we want. Oftentimes what we want doesn't necessarily play out the way we think it will. And I think that's the beauty of like having like unattached, being passionate about something, but also not being deeply attached to it.
Yeah.
It's being willing to let it flow, the ebb and flow.
Literally.
You know. For the moment now, I do want to give. Where can people find you in the social spheres of the interwebs, and where can people find your music?
Okay, so I'm heavy on Instagram. That's like my main social. I feel like everyone has one. It's like Instagram is my place, so you can catch me at Quirklesswonder. That's no spaces or underscores, if I'm not mistaken. I'm on TikTok now. Been trying to dig into that. I'm on there at Quirkless_W because Quirklesswonder was taken. And it's like, and that's another one of my goals. Is like I got to be the biggest Quirklesswonder because apparently other people have the same idea. It's not music related, but it's just like art and stuff. I'm just like, no.
Gotta be able to hold the title.
My
verification.
Yeah.
Blue check mark.
Like, I will have the #1 headband. But yeah, mostly on those. But on my Instagram, there's a link in the bio that leads to like all my other stuff. There's like my YouTube cover stuff in there too. That's just like in the archives if you want to watch that. So
hell yeah. Thank you for the time today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
This was
I don't
dope.
get to talk a lot, I feel like, about my because it's so new, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Do you want the raw record of this?
Yeah, I'll take it.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, I'll get it uploaded and I'll send it your way.
Dope.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna cut the stream. Bye everybody.
See you.
Fuck out of here. Cut this record. GG.
Slam the
Peace
camera
the fuck
now.
out. Exactly. Smack the computer over.